William here, Patriot Containers. In this video, I want to talk about the last phone call I just took. It was somebody I talked to in the past, and I texted him my YouTube information and my videos. Sometimes I talk to somebody, and the topic that they're talking about, I have a YouTube video for, so I'll send them the video. Sometimes I just send people my channel and hope they watch. Sometimes I'll send a specific video that is blatantly showing with what these companies do to you guys. And so anyways, over time and months, I hardly ever call people back. I don't have this diehard salesperson in me anymore that's hounding you. Hey, it's just not in me. I used to be like that a long time ago. I kind of look at it like this: if you want my help, I want to help you, and but I just don't want to be annoying. I just don't. And if you want, people have a choice, and I have zero power to make anybody buy anything from me. So, but what I do is when I get, hold on one second. When I get, let's say, just text message, and I have OCD, so I delete text messages constantly, but I do save customers' text messages where I did not make a sale. I sent them my company info, which means I've already talked to them. And maybe like 2 months later, I'll call them back. And a lot of people are like, oh, I already bought one. And so I talked to this guy. I said, hey, man, talked to you maybe last month, and I sent you my information. And he was a straight up honest guy. I like people like that. Let's get to the point. And he goes, look, man, I'm not buying this unless I pay cash. And I've heard that so many times. People used to not be like that before COVID. And what it is you guys got the worst container companies saying cash on delivery, cash on delivery, cash on delivery. But they don't take cash on delivery. They don't. The company is in this state and the driver is picking up in this state. So the company wants to keep your money, right? Well, what the company is afraid of is that if the customer gives the driver cash, that the driver is going to keep the company's money. That's why they don't take cash. Well, then why do you say it like that? So a lot of companies now say they'll do payment on delivery. But if you don't pay for your container, they'll send you to collections. Okay, great. A lot of companies that say payment on delivery, they never show up because it's not paid for. You're not a customer. So this guy goes, look, buddy, I'm not paying for this. And I think this phone call was like 25 minutes or 40 minutes long. And I told him, I said, look, buddy, I've been in business for 11 years. I've sold 15 to 20,000 containers, and I don't have any complaints at all because I do the right thing. I get it. You want to pay on delivery. I go, I don't even need to make a sale. He goes, I want to drive to the depot. Great. I'm going to tell you where to go to drive there. I go, in fact, I'll give you the owner's number of the depot so you can deal with him directly and buy the container from there when you, and I don't need to make a sale. And after I started talking to this guy for so long, we called the owner of the depot and I go, hey, look, I got a customer on the phone. He wants to drive there. I know you're not there at that depot. You're at a different depot. Who's there? And he goes, oh, a guy by the name of David. And I go, okay, well, this guy wants new one-trippers. And I go, well, can we have the containers pulled down and take pictures of the containers so you see the container numbers so he doesn't have to make a trip to the depot? And he goes, yeah, I can totally do that. And I think this customer has a lot of personal business related things he needs to do before his purchase. But I think in that amount of time, I won him over with being the good, honest guy and telling him what this container industry really is. And I think for now on, every single customer that says, hey, I want to pay cash on delivery or payment on delivery, I'm just going to tell you where to go to buy the container. That's it. You don't have to deal with all these crappy companies lying to you. I'm going to tell you, hey, call this owner, call this depot, drive to this address so you don't buy from these crappy companies anymore. That's what I'm going to do from now on. So this customer that is like, he's northeast of Dallas. He wants two 20-foot one trippers. There's 14 of them, and I think the guy's gonna call me back. He heard my cost, which was $21.50 for one new 20-foot one tripper. $21.50. I typically make like 3 to 5. My profit is variable. It really is. I just think an average profit that I normally make is about $500 on every container. Well, the goal is to sell 100 a month, and I'm fine. So what I did for that customer, I said, hey, look, and to be honest, here's a real scenario. My cost is $21.50. I quoted that customer $2,400, where I'm making $250 each container. He's going to buy 2, but I'm going to make $500. My paperwork is still 1 page. It's not. It doesn't matter whether you buy 100 or you buy 1. It's still the same amount of ink coming out of my pen. That being said, I told him, I said, look, if you want to call me back, I will sell you these containers for $2,400 each, and then we can deliver them whenever you want. You'll know your delivery date. And I actually think this guy's going to call me back. That being said, though, is the way this works, though, is I honestly think if he goes to that depot, they're going to quote him higher than $2,400. So in this particular situation, I'm buying the same product for a lower cost and turning a profit and still being cheaper than him going and dealing with somebody that actually owns the containers, because he's standing at the depot, he's going to be charged more money. And I think he realizes that too. I have stories of over the years of customers where I've made sales and they're like, man, you're way cheaper than everybody else. And I thought you were a broker. I'm like, I am a broker, but I buy directly from shipping lines. I buy from people that I know the owners of these depots, so they can actually cherry pick me the best containers, and I get them for a low enough price where my profit is still lower than if you bought it directly from them. Doesn't happen all the time like that, but most of the time it is. But yeah, so in this video, to me, there is so much more to buying a container other than price. If price is your main focus, you might get screwed by the wrong company, because they want to win you over with the low price. Well, I want to win you over with the fact that I want to tell you 100% the truth, deliver on the right day, and show up with a good product, new or used, that you actually like looking at. And no, my containers don't leak. But a lot of times when you're dealing with these other companies that I'm warning you of, they buy the cheapest junk, but they're not telling you it's cheap junk. They're telling you it's fine and dandy, and you're covered, and you're not covered. So yeah, I think with these idiot companies saying, we do cash on delivery, payment on delivery. Every time you call me, I'm just going to tell you where to buy the container so you can deal with the depot or the shipping line directly and go straight to the source. And I don't need to make money. I'm going to help you avoid those scummy companies ripping you guys off. That's it. Have a good day. Goodbye.